Why, hello there, old sports, and welcome to what's probably going to be one of the hardest challenges, if not the hardest challenge I've done to date. In this video, I will be attempting to reach 112% completion and ascend the Pantheon of Hallownest with only sharp shadow damage. Now, there are a few whoopsie-daisy damage moments I'm just kinda gonna brush off, because it was either from Grimm shooting things during the Grimm Troupe side quest, or accidentally super dashing into something like an idiot. But any other times that I accidentally hit something, or like, there was a few times where I accidentally, instead of holding down the button, I accidentally tapped the button to heal, so I ended up using a spell. And if I did that during a boss fight, I ended up just quitting out and restarting the boss, because that would defeat the whole point if I just did it, if I just let that go. But accidentally running into something with Crystal Heart and killing it, or Greenpath accidentally Greenpath shooting something out of my control, I'm not gonna harp too much on that. We're just gonna leave it be. Now, obviously, to make this challenge possible, I am giving myself the Shade Cloak and the Mothwing Cloak, as well as Sharp Shadow to start out with. So we're already starting with 5% completion on the counter, because each piece of major equipment gives you 2%, and each charm gives you 1%. I'll have a little percentage counter up in the corner for most of the video, so you can see where we're at. With that being said, this video is probably going to be long enough. I have a little under 14 hours of footage to go through, so let's begin, and I hope this video isn't more than 3 hours long. I say before editing this video, so I have no idea how long the video will end up being. Upon starting the game in King's Pass, we immediately rush over to where Fury of the Fallen is located, and grab our first normal piece of percentage in the run. Again, for the sake of time, I'm gonna end up skimming over a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna be like doing a play-by-play. I go here, grab a grub, kill this guy, go here, go here, go here, grab a grub, go here, go here. Like, I'm just gonna go over anything that actually counts towards the percentage ticker, and then so I can add that onto the counter up in the corner. And then from there, I'm also going to talk about any troubles I may have had or anything of note, but I'm not going to go through all the stuff that I think is mostly irrelevant. Just assume if I'm not talking about something that I'm just speeding through it. Since I can do basic pogoing, once I reach the main crossroads, chasm, tunnel thingy, I go over to where the brooding Moloch is and then kill it for its mask shard, and again, that adds another point to the completion ticker. And the thing is, the masks only count once you get all 4 to get another additional mask, so I won't count that yet. This was I probably should have just waited a bit to come back here because this was just tedious, but it doesn't really matter anymore. Once I clear out the lower crossroad Aspid arena, I decide that now is a good time to just go to Fungal Wastes, because most of the, I guess, upgrades we can get to I feel silly saying upgrades. Most of the upgrades we can get to our DPS come from Fungal Wastes, or any that aren't the nail damage at least. So what we do is we try to go down, or I try to go down and kill the Shroomal Ogres, but I end up dying to them, so that is a minor setback, but I just kind of am going to let this fight play out to show how tedious this can be, because Shade Cloak has a cooldown of about 1.5 seconds, and right now we're only doing our base nail damage, so imagine only being able to attack every 1.5 seconds in this game. That is awful. So, like I said, that's assuming we're doing everything optimally, and we don't need to worry about dodging, which we do need to do it, so our DPS is a lot lower than 1 nail swing per 1.5 seconds. So, yeah, this isn't easy. Even though it's the easier of the options I proposed earlier, it's still not easy. Upon getting our revenge on the Shroomal Ogres, I go and grab the Charm Notch, because even if they don't count towards anything percentage-wise, they're helpful to have. Then I buy Fragile Greed from Leg Eater. After equipping Fragile Greed with my newly acquired Charm Notch, I dash through the rest of the crossroads before reaching Gruzmother, and Gruzmother is easy. It only takes 18 hits to kill her, so this is an easy boss. It's basically the tutorial boss, and False Knight's like the real actual boss, but regardless, I'm able to kill her with little to no difficulties. Ironically, the babies put up more of a fight than she did, and that's just because they scatter, so take that, I guess. I'm talking too much. While I'm here, I introduce myself to Salubra and then buy Steady Body, so I'm one step closer to being able to afford another Charm Notch. Because, for some reason, this weirdo sells all of them. Or most of them. After rescuing Sly, opening up the Crossroad and Dirtmouth Stag stations, I return to the Fungal Wastes, and then go through the lower path to, you know, that one area with, like, the bouncy balloon things, and there's the grub at the end of the tunnel of bouncy shrooms. I go there, open up the one-way door, then head up past Cornifer to the Queen's Station, not the Queen's Garden, the Queen's Station Stag Station, and then open that up, and then from there, I go down further past, like, into the Mantis Village outskirt area, and then I grab the most important, I guess it's the second most important charm for this run, that being Dash Master. Dash Master makes it so you get a 1.5 times multiplier to your Sharp Shadow damage, and it's always rounded up, so 21 damage becomes 32. So, yippee! Good damage, good everything. Now that I have the combo of Sharp Shadow and Dash Master, I go and fight the False Knight. And the False Knight is kind of annoying, because he's just slow and he jumps around a lot, so he also has a very wide hitbox, so you have to be very specific with your spacing if you don't want to get hit. And then also, for no one who's going to care about this, because no one else is doing this, when he's in his maggot form, you want to dash vertically, because if you dash horizontally, sometimes he can get caught on his armor, and then when he wakes up, he'll hit you with contact damage. So dash vertically, so you are always hitting the ground instantly, so you don't hit him when he gets back up. Sorry, that's probably a dumb explanation, but you can see it in my footage. So, yeah, I grab the city crest and the geo, and then skedaddle. And then, since while I'm here in the area, after killing False Knight, we go into the Ancestral Mound, get Vengeful Spirit, go through the mound, and then grab Soul Catcher before leaving to go to Greenpath. But before going to Greenpath, I go back to Dirtmouth, and then go over to Sly's shop, and then using the Mask Shard I got from the Brooding Moloch, and the one I got from the Grubfather, I buy 2 more Mask Shards, getting me another complete mask, so I get my 6th mask, which counts as a percentage point. I also buy Stalwart Shell before leaving. After buying all that stuff, I go back to the Queen's Station, Stag Station, and then go up through the Fog Canyon to get to Greenpath. From there, I just kind of do a normal any percent sprint through Greenpath before reaching the Vengefly King. And I decide for some reason that saving Zote is a good idea, because I'm like, oh, I can get 300 Essence from the Grey Prince. But for some reason, I kind of forgot that, yeah, that also means you have to fight him in the Pantheon, dumbass. So, that wasn't fun. I'll get to that later, but that wasn't fun. Also, I had to damage boost up to even hit the damn thing. It was like the game was even trying to get me to not fight this guy. The game was doing everything it could to save me, and I said, no, give me the pain. Next up is Hornet, and if you enter the Hornet 1 arena while already possessing the Mothwing Cloak, the camera just kind of bugs out for some reason. So it doesn't focus on the arena, and it follows you like it would normally, so that can cause some problems, but I am able to beat her. But since I can't pick up the Mothwing Cloak, since I already have it, the doors are locked, so I just have to quit out and return to the last bench I sat at, which, thankfully, was the Greenpath Stag Bench. After spawning back in at the bench, I go down through Greenpath, and then go over to where the Thorns of Agony charm is, and do the little obstacle course, before heading back down through the Fog Canyon, so I can return to Dirtmouth and buy some stuff, because percentage, I guess. I don't know, I just was buying stuff as I had the money. Speaking of, I then bought the compass and the quill from Azelda, and then gathering swarm from Sly, so there's some more percentage right there. From there, I returned to the Mantis Village, and then went and got Mantis Claw, and then from there I decided, hey, I should go fight the Mantis Lords, you know, without healing, because that's a good idea. That will go well. That will go very well. After running all the way back through the fungal wastes, and then rescuing Bretta and sitting at a nearby bench, I tried to re-challenge the Mantis Lords, and this time it goes much better, because I actually have more than 4 health going into the second phase. Who would have thought that would make a difference? So what you want to do is you want to always try to make sure you can hit them when they're dashing, or when they're lunging down, or they're dropping down, I guess that's the right term. Otherwise, you want to be careful, because if you dash right where they're about to jump down, they're gonna hit you before you can move out of the way. But just be careful, try to act smart, and you'll be able to defeat them eventually. Again, I don't know why I'm phrasing this like a tutorial. No one else is gonna do this. I'm the only one stupid enough to do this, not you. After that, I go and immediately grab Mark of Pride, because again, I want to get everything as quickly as possible so I can feel the funny number go up and feel proud of myself. Regardless, from there I decide, you know what, I never go to Deepnest this early. I should go to Deepnest early. It was a terrible idea, viewer. I almost died multiple times. I guess I only died I almost died only once, because I only hit 1 HP one time, but you get my point. It wasn't fun. I almost died. But eventually I did manage to get to the sauna area, or the hot spring. I always think of it as a sauna for no reason. I guess the place in City of Tears is more of a sauna. This is just a natural hot spring. I'm rambling too much. Apologies. But in all seriousness, turns out going into a mid-game area with no DPS is a bad idea. Who would have thought? From there, I go on to go rescue Zote from the little corpse crawler arena area, and then I make a mad dash for the tram pass. And, well, the corpse crawler arena, that's a tongue twister, the corpse crawler arena was not really difficult because you can kind of lead the spider things around pretty easily, and then you can just chip away at them. But the tram pass area was a little more difficult because there's so many mothers there that just keep spawning the dirt carvers, and those get annoying very quickly. And then eventually they'll run out of babies to spawn and they'll start flying at you. So try to get in and out as quickly as possible. Don't do what I'm doing right here and just stand around trying to get Geo from them. That's a dumb idea. Why am I doing this? Eventually I decided to get out before I die, but it was still a stupid idea. From there, well, again, since I'm in the area and I'd rather not come back, I go to the little, I think because I messed up the name with the Terraria enemy. I think it's Gartipede or something. Anyways, I go to the little centipede area to get the soul vessel fragment while I'm here, because again, I'd rather not come back here later. And then after that, I go and take the tram over to the ancient basin, not to the hive, but just to the ancient basin for now. And then I go down and go rescue Cloth, just instinctually for some reason. Like, I just go there and I'm like, oh yeah, I should rescue Cloth while I'm here. So I guess when I go fight Trader Lord, I'll have Cloth with me, which I guess that's breaking the rules of the challenge, but that was an accident, I guess, so probably shouldn't have done that. That was a stupid decision. Anyways, after that, I go rest up and recover my health, and then go fight the 2 little Moloch things for a Pale Ore, because again, getting as many nail upgrades as I can was going to help immensely. So just, yeah, Pale Ore is invaluable. From there, I ascend into the City of Tears, kill some stuff for some Geo, including the Gorgeous Husk, then go to the Nailsmith to upgrade my nail twice, up to the channeled nail. And then the thing is, whenever you upgrade your nail, it kind of messes with the damage multiplier from Dashmaster, but just taking the charm off and putting it back on again at a bench fixes it. So that's not really a problem. I guess I just thought I'd point it out, because for a bit I was confused and I thought the synergy broke. But no, you just need to take the charm off and put it back on again. IT moment. After that, I climb up the western side of the City of Tears, unlock the Stag Station, get the Soul Vessel fragment from the elevator, and then go to Salubra and buy 4 charms and a charm notch. So I'll just come back here once I have enough to buy the other 2 charm notches, and then thankfully we'll never have to talk to Salubra again. Thank God. At least one thing's going well. After that, I return to the Grubfather to get some of my rewards, and one of them is Grubsong, and Grubsong is very good, and it will become part of my final charm build I use for the Pantheons, so thank you, Grubsong. You're a very good charm for this very specific scenario. Well, it's good for other scenarios too, but you get what I mean. After that, I go back down to the City of Tears, and I go up to the little area with the Soul Vessel and fight off all the Husk Guards things, sentries, I forgot what they're called. They're the little flying guys and the grounded soldier guys for the City of Tears. Anyways, after that, I get the final soul vessel fragment to get me to get another soul vessel upgrade. I'm phrasing this terribly. So I get that, and that's another percentage point. And then from there, I go down to the elevator, and then go up to the resting grounds. I open up the shortcut that leads to, like, Blue Lake area, or this area I'm in right now. So I don't have to, so I can go down there. And then I go grab the dream nail. Grabbing the dream nail gives us another percentage point. And then from there, I go grab Dream Shield. From there, I return to the City of Tears, enter the Soul Sanctum, grab Spell Twister, and then fight Soul Master. And Soul Master and his upgraded form, Soul Tyrant, were probably one of the most annoying bosses in this whole run. Not the most, we'll get to her later, but, like, they just are... It takes forever to fight them because they teleport around a lot, and they float just above off the air, so you have to jump, which can sometimes, like that split second you need to jump, can sometimes take up all the time you have to hit them. So it's really annoying. So these bosses, not the most fun in the challenge, but they both have very useful things locked behind them, that being Dive, which is basically a glorified key for us in this run, and then Soul Tyrant gives us Essence, which we will need for many things. So, yeah. Now, the reason I kind of skimmed over Soul Master was because I wanted to talk more in depth about Soul Tyrant. Now, obviously, Soul Tyrant is faster and has more health than Soul Master off the bat, so that's annoying. So, his orb spam attack is kind of useless for us because, or it's not useless, it's just there's not really any clean attack opportunities. Because he teleports so fast, it's kind of hard to hit him during Soul Master, but during Soul Tyrant, it's basically down to luck to hit it if you are able to get a hit on him during the orb burst attack. The orbs, like the orb spiral attack where he does like a ring of orbs around himself, or in this case he does like a rectangle of 6 around him. That attack you can hit him during, but sometimes it's risky because sometimes your dash won't get all the way through the back row of orbs and you'll get hit on that, so that's not good. But the best attack to hit him during is when he does the kind of float across the arena attack. And then once he starts doing the slam phase, you want to try to hit him during the slam, because it's even though he's stationary during the orb burst attack in the second phase, it's still dangerous, so you want that phase to last the least amount of time possible. But other than that, he's not that difficult, or he is difficult, but you get what I mean. Dive in hand, I go down to the lower part of the Royal Waterways and think, hey, fighting Flukemarm is a good idea, probably. As you can see on screen, it was not. The baby flukes move way too fast and erratically to take out consistently, and she spawns them too fast to eliminate them. And I don't have enough health right now to just tank through and just kill her before she dies. Spoiler, this is going to be the most annoying boss in the game. At least during the Pantheons, so, do with that what you will, I guess. Yeah, I don't know why I did this either. It was a bad idea. Deciding to do something more productive with my time, I retrieve my shade and then go fight Dung Defender. And Dung Defender really isn't that difficult. Again, minor spoiler, I don't know why I'm even saying that. White Defender is a bit more annoying, but that's just because he's way more tanky, so it's just annoying to have to deal with him for longer when your damage is so low. And by damage, I mean DPS, because technically each strike we're doing is more than an individual nail strike due to Dashmaster, but I'm rambling too much. Grimm puts up a good fight, and this is a good time to mention it. Lots of times when you're hitting things in the air, they tend to go to the right. So if you're dashing into him during his ball attack, you want to dash from right to left instead of left to right, because if you dash from left to right, you'll get hit by him. Again, I don't know why I'm phrasing this like a tutorial. No one is going to do this. But anyways, after I defeat Grimm, I grab the crest and then skedaddle after turning off the acid. After that, I end up returning to the fungal wastes and buying the last two fragile charms from Legator. They aren't unbreakable yet, and I never really end up upgrading them to that anyways. After that, I go back up into the crossroads and then go fight Failed Champion. And Failed Champion takes me a couple tries, but that's just mostly because there's not much room for error. There isn't a lot of good healing opportunities while he's up and attacking. Your only real healing opportunity is when he's down in his maggot form. And then that's also the only place you can Dream Nail him for soul. So your healing is very limited in this fight, so every mistake counts. And even if the barrels that fall from the ceiling don't do double damage like his normal attacks, they still chip away at your health, and that's always dangerous. So they probably won't end up killing you, but they might lower you down enough to where he can kill you with one good swing. So that's always annoying. But eventually I am able to take him down. I probably should have waited till I had more health, or just more anything. More damage, more health, more soul, I don't know. But I was able to beat him on the third try, and that's all that matters, and I get my essence for it, so yippee, essence. I should probably go to the seer. I don't know why I'm talking like this, because the footage has already been recorded for like a day. I'm stupid. Anyways, how's the weather? From there, I go up to the Crystal Peaks, and then I make sure to grab the Shopkeeper's Key before going and fighting the Crystal Guardian. And the Crystal Guardian is kind of annoying just because the lasers, like, I tend to accidentally dash into them, but it's not that big of a deal. From there, I go to the little Crystal Heart parkour arena, and due to having Shadow Dash, this is a cakewalk because you can just dash through all the lasers pretty easily. And then I go grab the Crystal Heart. And fun fact about the Crystal Heart, I don't know what I was gonna say. It's just a cool item. It's like a heart made of. It powers the golem somehow, so I don't know how consuming it is safe for us. But, anyways, then I go grab Deep Focus. So that's all we're doing in the Crystal Peaks for now, because we need wings for everything else. After rescuing a few more grubs, like I said, I exit Crystal Peaks through the area that leads to the elevator to Dirtmouth, that little like tunnel area, the one where you can drop down and find the fake grub, the mimic. From there, I then dash over to the Howling Cliffs, and then go up the secret entrance from like the starting room, and then go learn the nail art from Motto, the Cyclone Slash. And again, the nail arts are useless, but I need them for completion percentage, as well as Nailmaster's Glory, so, you know. I'm gonna try to get most of everything I can while I'm here. I waited to come back to the Howling Cliffs until I had Dream Nail and Lantern, because I need them for... Well, I just need Dream Nail. Lantern just makes getting Joni's Blessing easier. But other than that, like I said, I'm gonna try to get everything in Howling Cliffs in one go, so... Look at me being smart and planning things out. I don't know why I'm patting myself on the back for that, that's just a given. After learning the nail art, I go kill Gorb for some easy essence, and again, he's just really, like I said, he's just a really easy boss with this restriction. You can just dash through him back and forth. Easy boss. I don't know what else to say. From there, then I go down to Joni's Repose and grab Joni's Blessing. Then I go find the little secret area, and then go and light the Nightmare Lantern by Dream Nailing the Bug. And how do you light a lantern with a swinging of foot? Well, maybe you're hitting the sparks, or maybe you're like hitting the metal and it's causing spark. I don't know. Then I grab Boulder Shell and then leave the Howling Cliffs. From there, I descend into Greenpath and then do the little Crystal Dash obstacle course to reach Shio and get Great Slash from his hut. While I'm in Greenpath, I go down to where the Stone Sanctuary is and then go fight No Eyes. And No Eyes is kind of annoying just because she teleports lots of times when you hit her, but it's not too hard to deal with. It's just tedious. But then again, half the bosses in this challenge are, because this is a challenge run, so I don't know what I was expecting. Anyways, after killing No Eyes, I go into the next room and get the Mask Shard, and this completes my second additional mask, giving me a 7th mask and another percentage. So we got 2% from this whole ordeal, that being the percentage for killing No Eyes and for another mask. So look at me go. Again, since I'm in Greenpath, I decide to go down to the Fog Canyon and take the little entrance to the Overgrown Mound, where I get Howling Wraiths after defeating a bunch of the little mosquito enemies. And again, it's not that difficult, it's just kind of hard to hit certain enemies because they're smaller, so you have to be more precise, but I managed to do it. Then from there, since I have Shadow Dash, I decide maybe going to Queen's Gardens is a good idea. And that goes about as well as I expected. Or you expected. I don't know. I expected it to go well for some reason. After a few attempts of trying to recover my shade, I'm not able to recover the shade and get out alive. I'm always able to recover the shade, but I end up dying. So what I end up trying to do is I decide, okay, I need a simple key so I can unlock the room to Gigi so I can use her to summon my shade back. But the problem with that is, again, I need a key, and the only two available are the one in Sly's shop, which I can't get because I don't have money for obvious reasons. And then what I also do, so what I end up doing is going down to the Ancient Basin to grab one there. Now, instead of trying to overconfidently fight Broken Vessel and probably end up dying in the process, I decide to take the tram back over to the Kingdom's Edge side, but I don't go into the Hive yet, because again, I'd probably die. But I go up through where the entrance to the sewers is, or the Royal Waterways. I go up to that entrance and then unlock the little shortcut and then go to Isma's Grove, where I can then go get Isma's Tear, which will be helpful for obvious reasons. Well, I don't know why I'm saying it's helpful. I need it regardless if it's helpful or not. But then from there, I go and kill all the enemies, then go grab Isma's Tear, allowing me to swim in acid, and then I leave to go back to Dirtmouth, because I have things I need to do there. I don't know why I'm talking about all this stuff. You guys get what I'm trying to get at. If anything, I'm probably skimming over too much stuff and going too fast, but I don't want this video to be like 3 hours long. I think it's already going to be like an hour and a half at this rate, but I don't know. Upon returning to Dirtmouth, I enter the Grimm Troupe's tent, talk to Troupe Master Grimm, acquire Grimmathy, then go down to the crossroads and I just go over to Grubfather's room, get the rewards, including an egg, and then go over to Gigi's hut, cave thing, and then use the egg to retrieve my shade. Before embarking to go find the Grimm Flame things, I then go to the resting grounds and go talk to Seer to get some of my rewards, including a Pale Ore, another charm, that being Dream Wielder, and then another Soul Vessel fragment, which gives me another full Soul Vessel, giving me another, I guess I just got 2%, I got one from the charm and one from the Soul Vessel. But anyways, then I also unlock Dream Gate, which does not count as a percentage for some reason. And then from there, I think because Dreamgate was added in the Hidden Dreams update, and they were trying to keep the max at 100%, but then with Grimm Troupe, they kind of threw that out the window, so I have no idea what Team Cherry's mindset on this stuff is. Regardless, after all that, I skedaddle and continue my hunt for Grimmkin Flames. I kinda lied, I went back to Dirtmouth to set my Dreamgate point at Dirtmouth, and then I also decided to buy Sprintmaster and Heavy Blow from Sly just because I have the cash, so again, might as well do that. And then I also bought the Elegant Key because since I'm going to the City of Tears, I can do a bunch of stuff there, so just trying to be efficient, I guess, I don't know. After collecting the rest of the first wave of Grimmkin Flames, I returned to the Troupe tent and then talked to Grimm to upgrade Grimmathy, and then skedaddle to go collect more Grimmkin Flames. So I went back out and, like I said, collected more Grimmkin Flames, but I specifically saved the last one for Kingdom's Edge, or the last one I collected was the one in Kingdom's Edge, because, again, I'm trying to be as efficient as possible here. I'm trying to just go fast, fast, fast. But anyways, after collecting the last Grimmkin Flame of the second wave, I then, since I'm in Kingdom's Edge, like I just said, I don't know why I'm reiterating that, I go to Oro's hut, sorry, I always mix up their names. I go to Oro's hut and then learn the Dash Slash from him, giving me yet another percentage point, and getting me one step closer to my goal. I don't know why I'm reiterating that again, like, you guys know why I want percentage points, you get the gist of the video. After grabbing Quick Slash from the Ancient Nailsmith corpse, I go fight Markoth since I have Shadow Dash, and again, I'm in the area. And Markoth is probably the second hardest Dream Warrior to deal with, and that is, of course, just because his shield is annoying, like always. It's hard to line it up correctly so you can hit him without getting hit, especially once he summons the second one and starts floating around faster and spamming more nails at you. But I was able to defeat him and get some essence, getting me up to 1200 essence, so It's not all bad, it's just annoying. Thankfully, I have time to heal and recover after all of them. That would be awful if I didn't have time to do that. Again, since I'm in Kingdom's Edge, I decided now would be a good time to do at least the first 2 Colosseum trials, because I don't have confidence in myself to do the third, and I'd rather just do it in one attempt, rather than waste time dying on it, if that makes sense, because the third trial is pretty long, so might as well just gear up some more beforehand. And I basically did the first 2 trials to see how it would go, and it was kind of tedious, so I'm glad I only committed to doing the first 2 instead of the first instead of all 3. Zote was not a problem, obviously, but the Oblobbles were definitely a problem. It was just because they tend to float with you when you dash through them, so you get hit a lot by them, but I was able to beat them thanks to the power of Grubsong, so that helped a lot. I don't know why I think I had, no, I didn't have Greed on during this. I was trying to think back to what charms I had on. But regardless, the Oblobbles weren't too difficult, mostly because I just had enough health to tank through any stupid hits they got on me. And then the regular enemies weren't too much of a problem. The flying ones were more annoying, but that's just because you have to be more precise with your dashes. But other than that, the rest of the ground units were they weren't very much of a problem. Except for the wider guy, like the armored, I think they're called sturdy fools. Those guys were annoying because they would just, they're just so wide, and their attack range is wide as well, so those were annoying. But other than that, the Colosseum was fine. Returning to the City of Tears with the Pale Ore I got from the Colosseum trial, as well as the Pale Ore from Seer. I have 2 Pale Ore and enough Geo to purchase another nail upgrade, upgrading my nail to the coiled nail, and adding another percentage to the ticker. Since I'm in the City of Tears, and the nearest stag station is the city storeroom stag, and I have the gilded key, I go up back to the Soul Sanctum, and then go fight the Soul Warrior, who goes down pretty easily, because again, I'm 1 nail upgrade away from the best nail. And then, it goes down easily for this challenge, and then I get Shade Soul and Skedaddle. But instead of going to the stag station, I go back through the gate, or the entrance above the gate that you have to dive to break through. Regardless, I go through there, and then go up to where Elder Hu's grave is, and then fight him because essence and a percentage point, so 2 birds with 1 stone there, I guess. Elder Hu is quite annoying, mostly because his like ring donut things or whatever they are that he slams down on the ground. It's hard to hit him when he's about to do that attack, so you have to time your attacks very precisely, or else you're probably going to end up dashing into the rings. But other than that, he's not that difficult of a fight, just kind of repetitive, and Grubsong gave me enough sustain to allow me to survive the fight. Continuing my attempt at being efficient, I go up to where the little sports room area is, grab the charm, save the grub, and then take the cave-in entrance into Deepnest. And unlike last time I was here, I'm a lot more well-equipped. So I decided to go fight Nosk, and that goes pretty well. Again, the only problem with Nosk is that its hitbox is pretty wide, but we already dealt with that with Failed Champion / False Knight, so other than that, this fight isn't too difficult. You just need to space yourself correctly. And most of the time, you can dash through Nosk as it's running, so its hitbox will be gone because it was running the other direction by the time you dash through it. So that's not too bad. And then you can always use the ledge strategy to heal safely, so there's another good thing. So Grubsong is your best friend here, like it is for most of this chat. Grubsong and Dashmaster are the 2 best friends to the Sharp Shadow charm. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I felt a bit too intimidated to write a whole script for this video, so I just have a bunch of bullet points I'm trying to cover. But now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have written a script, but I'm also scared of throwing away all the progress I've made on editing this video so far. I've spent like a day editing this so far, and I'm only like 66% through the run. Again, since I'm in Deepnest, might as well do everything else here. So I go fight Galeon, now that I have the Dream Nail. Or, I've had the Dream Nail for a while, I just mean like since last time I was here, I didn't have the Dream Nail then, but I do now. I need to stop talking. Anyways, Galeon is a kind of a middle-of-the-road boss in terms of difficulty, so unfortunately that means you can over-prepare, and any boss you can over-prepare for, you can kind of just tank through any mistakes you might have made, making the boss a lot less difficult. But then again, this is a challenge run, so I shouldn't really be complaining. I just thought I'd bring that up, because in theory, Galeon should be pretty difficult, because his scythe has some weird physics. But even in the Pantheons, he's meant to be a middle-of-the-road boss, so when you have max equipment, he's not even really a problem there either. He's kind of just there. But then also after fighting Galeon, I go get Weaver Song in the main, like, big area of Deepnest. I get Weaver Song, and that isn't a problem at all. I just wanted to talk about it because it's a percentage point. Since I can get a flame here for Greenpath, I decide to wait to kill Hera, but I go back to Dirtmouth for now, and I end up getting Nailmaster's Glory from Sly. I also decide to go fight Grimm, and that goes well. That goes very well. After a quick visit to Leg Eater to fix my charm, I return to Grimm and fight him once again. And Grimm is a very odd boss for this run, because obviously I was expecting Nightmare King Grimm to cause some problems, but not normal Grimm, Troupe Master Grimm. I expected him to be easier, but ironically I'm so much more used to the faster pace of Nightmare King, so his slower speed kind of messed me up a little bit. Mix that with trying to learn what attacks I can attack during, and then it didn't go very well the first time around, but the second time I did manage to beat him. Most of his attacks are fine, it's just the fire bats that you have to worry about, and that also carried over to Nightmare King Grimm, but I'll talk about that more when we get to him. The fire bat attack, you kind of just want to focus on dodging, just don't attack during it, it's not worth it. But everything else is fine, and I also figured out later during the Pantheon grinds that you can actually damage him during his pufferfish attack, but I would advise against it because you kind of want to conserve your health for obvious reasons. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, it's obvious. You don't want to die. I'm sorry. I hope I don't sound too condescending when I'm explaining all this stuff. Like, you guys know how these things work. I don't want to sound like a jackass. Once I defeat Grimm, I go back to the crossroads, grab some stuff from Grubfather, and then go down to the False Knight, or around the False Knight arena, to grab the Glowing Womb Charm from the Aspid arena. And now that I actually have some better equipment and more health, I decide that it's time to give an old, I can't really call her a friend, an old enemy, a visit. Now, of course, I'm talking about Flukemarm. Now that I have better equipment and more health and more DPS, all that good stuff, I decide to go take some revenge on her. And it does go pretty well, up until the end, because while I do kill the boss, the babies do get revenge on me. But I quickly return and grab Flukenest before leaving. Now that I'm done with the waterways, I return back to the ancient basin to fight the broken vessel and get my monarch wings. Now the broken vessel, I'm going to talk about what makes it unique, and then I'll talk about Lost Kin, because I fought Lost Kin right after this. So, the headbang attack. Yeah, that attack isn't really too difficult to deal with, you just kind of dash through it back and forth. So, that's how you deal with the headbang attack, and then everything else is just a slower version of whatever Lost Kin does, so... yeah, Broken Vessel goes down pretty easily, and then from there, we go grab the Monarch Wings. Then we instantly go fight Lost Kin, and Lost Kin is actually a difficult boss, even with better equipment, because the balloons spawn so quickly that you just can't deal with them efficiently. You want to try to maximize each dash to hit Lost Kin and as many balloons as possible, because if you only focus on hitting each balloon, like I said earlier, you have a 1.5 second cooldown on your Shadow Dash, so your attack time, your damage per second on a single target may be high, but when you have to spread it out between individual targets, you are not going to be doing a lot of damage to Lost Kin if you only focus on the balloons, so you want to try to get Lost Kin and the balloons at once in one dash. Other than that, just try to dodge, and hope that Lost Kin doesn't spam its fucking backstab attack, because that is so annoying, because you dash through it, and it backsteps right as you lose invincibility frames. It's just so dumb. I hate that attack. Or, it's not even an attack, it's just a move. It's just a movement technique. It's not even an attack, really. I just get hit by it because I'm stupid. No, but anyway, Lost Kin eventually goes down after much difficulty. And then all you have to do from there is just kill the balloons before they kill you, and the fight is over, and you get your essence. After getting the wings, I can now enter I could enter the hive before, but now I can actually reach everything I wanted to get to in the hive. So I grab all the grubs and the mask shard, and then I go fight Hive Knight. And Hive Knight is really easy, because half of his attacks you can just dash through, easy peasy, dealing damage, not too difficult. The only annoying attack is the bee attack, or like the bee vomit attack. Technically they're all bee attacks, if you're being literal. No, but the bee vomit attack is kind of annoying, but that's just it. This boss isn't really too difficult in general. He's kind of just there because there was supposed to be a boss in the hive, and he even failed at that originally, so I don't know. I like you, Hive Knight. You're just not that interesting for a challenge run. I'm sorry, dude. After killing Hive Knight in cold blood, I do grab Hive Blood, and that will be an incredibly helpful charm. So Hive Knight may have died for nothing, but at least I got Hive Blood. But the hive wasn't my only goal in Kingdom's Edge. Now that I have wings, I can now reach Hornet 2. Well, I technically could before via some pogoing, but I didn't feel like it. Hornet 2 is not too difficult. I did kind of bend the rules a bit here, because I allowed myself to hit the spike traps away with my nail, even though I probably could have beat the fight without them, and I ended up doing that later in the Pantheon, so technically, it doesn't matter, because I did the harder version without the bending of the rule. You get what I mean. Anyways, Hornet 2 isn't that difficult, she's just Hornet 1 but faster. Then after she goes down, I get the King's Brand, and then, well, I guess Hornet rescues me. I don't really skedaddle, Hornet skedaddles for us. But now I'm just arguing semantics at this point. So, I don't even know why I'm still talking. I'm not even going to do the joke where I cut myself off again, because that wasn't even funny the first time. So, yeah. I beat Hornet 2 and got King's Brand, yeah, that's it. Since I have wings, I am able to access the fungal core, and the mask shard and Grimmkin flame within them. So I beat the Grimmkin nightmare and get the flame, and then drop down to get the mask shard, completing another full mask, and getting me another percentage point. After teleporting back to Dirtmouth, and now that I have wings, I am able to access the Grey Prince Zote boss fight, because you actually need to rescue Zote from the Colosseum, and then get wings to open up the hatch to the thing. Anyways, Zote, I don't know why I fought this guy. It was an active detriment to me. I almost died to him multiple times in the Pantheons, but I'll get to that later. Zote is just... the minions are annoying because, as I've covered with Lost Kin, having to spread your damage across multiple targets is very bad, as we've also seen with Flukmarm. So any boss that summons minions is just awful in this challenge for obvious reasons. I was thinking about doing the same challenge but with Thorns of Agony instead, and I bet these bosses would be easier because the damage is, it's an AoE almost. It does damage in a wider area, so you're able to hit multiple enemies. Anyways, he goes down eventually after 3 minutes of fighting, thank God, and I get the 300 essence, so I have enough to awake the Dream Nail and go ascend Seer, so I'll do that soon. But first, I'm going to take a trip back home to the Abyss. After equipping a bunch of Lifeblood charms, I'm able to open the Lifeblood door thingy. I don't know why it's even there, I guess because of the Abyss creature probably. Then able to grab Lifeblood core, and then after that, I go grab Abyss Shriek, which is the only... Well, I mean, I've been using the others. I was using Dive to break floor, so, I mean, as long as I'm not using it against, like, normal enemies or bosses, that... I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I get Abyss Shriek and then skedaddle. I also make sure to return to Deepnest and grab the Grimmkin Flame from Brum, and then go kill Hera. I was almost about to say fight Hera. It's kind of easy to fight someone when they're sleeping. So, yeah, it was pretty easy. The reason I specifically waited to kill Hera until now was just so I could grab the Grimmkin Flame and then kill her, because of efficiency or something. Even though it would probably be more efficient to just kill her earlier, I don't know. After collecting one last flame from the ancient basin, it's time to fight the Nightmare King. And the Nightmare King is, well, it's hard to describe because I was using my exploring charm, so I had Fragile Greed and Gathering Swarm on during the fight for some reason. I don't know why, the first few attempts, but eventually I just decided to get good, and then I used Hive Blood, and I won first try with Hive Blood, so yeah. I would have had Fragile Heart equipped too, but I had 2 of those charm notches going towards having Grimchild equipped, because you need Grimchild to enter the dream to fight the Nightmare King in the first place. Unfortunately, the best attack to attack Grimm during is kind of taken away, because in the normal Troupe Master Grimm fight, the best attack to attack him during is the spiked floor attack, but in this one, Grimm doesn't have a hitbox while that's active, so that sucks. I also found out that on the Fire Bat attack, his arm counts as a hitbox, or like, you can hit his cape, and it still counts as a hitbox, which I guess is, you can notice that when you're just using a nail, but it feels weirder when you're only using Shadow Dash, but regardless, it works, so might as well use that to your advantage. And then also the Fire Pillar attack is a good opportunity to get 1 or maybe even 2 hits in if you're efficient. That's the thing with Nightmare King Grimm. Unlike some of the other bosses where I was able to just power through them, once you learn Nightmare King Grimm's patterns, it's so hard to forget them. It's almost like riding a bike, it always comes back eventually. So I already had one half of the fight down, I just needed to learn when to attack, and then, well, at that point the fight was already over. And there's a Sun Tzu quote for this or something, but I'm too stupid to remember it, so use your imagination or something, I don't know. After putting Grimothy on the bench, or like bench in like the term, like sports terms, where it's like you're putting him on the backup because you don't need him anymore. Not Hollow Knight bench. I'm talking too much. I returned to the Crystal Peaks because again I have wings now, and I said I would come back here once I had wings. And I go fight the Enraged Guardian. Technically, it's still the Crystal Guardian. And this guy is smart enough to realize, hey, if I sit in the corner, he can't attack me without getting hurt. And that's a pretty effective strategy. And it almost kills me, but I am able to win and claim the Mask Shard in the end, so take that. Then after that, I go to Hallownest's Crown, and then just get the Pale Ore, and then skedaddle. And wow, I usually come up here without wings, it is so much easier with wings. While I'm in the Crystal Peak, I also go to the Crystallized Mound, and then grab the Grub there, as well as Descending Dark. And I'm not putting the copy pasta here, that's too much effort, I'm not doing that. Anyways, after doing that, I then drop down and go fight Zero, because Zero exists, I guess, and he's worth a percentage point for some reason. So I kill him. It's Zero, I don't know what you're expecting. This fight would be mildly challenging without wings, but now that I have them, he's even more of a cakewalk than usual. Or I guess he's less of a cakewalk than usual, since this is a challenge run. I'm thinking about this too hard. Zero is an easy boss, he dies, I get 100 essence and a percentage point, and we move on. Again, since I'm in the area, I decide to do some stuff I haven't done yet, obviously. So what I do is I go break the dive floor coffin thingy, and then grab the Grub there, and then go over to the right and grab Soul Eater, which is a charm, I guess. I don't know, I've done this like 40 times. I have to do this 40 times to get all the charms in the game. This is getting tedious eventually. I am going to do the Grey Mourner quest later though, because I haven't unlocked Queen's Gardens fully. After that, I go back to the City of Tears and upgrade my nail one last time to the Pure Nail. And I will not tell you if I let the Nailsmith live or not, because I don't know, I think it's funny. It actually isn't really that funny now that I think about it. I let him live. Yeah, because, again, it's not really like I had any methods of killing him anyways, but the intent was there. Next up is another set of false knights, the Watcher Knights. Get it? Because they're not real I should shut up. No, the Watcher Knights are, well, I mean, we have the best nail in the game, and we're doing 1.5 times the damage, so we're doing 32 damage a strike, so this boss is as easy as it could be. I don't know how to tell you this otherwise. The boss goes down pretty quickly. I don't even break the chandelier, even though I probably should have, because that would have sped the fight up by like 20 seconds. I don't know. But these guys are pretty easy, especially when you have Shadow Dash and can just iframe through their stupidness. So that's convenient. Anyways, after they die, I go up and kill Lurian, and honestly, good riddance. That guy just sits up on his tower all day watching people with a telescope. No good intentions there, let me tell you. I feel like we can't trust that guy. I don't know why the Pale King trusted him. Maybe he just said, hey, can you be a dreamer? So the guy would stop peeping on everyone around the city. I don't know. I should shut up. I'm not a lore channel. I'm a mediocre challenge YouTuber. I should know my place. After that, I enter Queen's Gardens via the little passage under the thorn clump in Fog Canyon, and then I just maneuver through it as quickly as possible, only pausing to save the occasional grub, and then unlock the final stag station, giving me access to the stag nest, and the final soul vessel of this run, getting me my third full soul vessel bubble thingy. So that's good. And then I also make sure to tell the old stag about the egg. Once that little detour is over with, I go fight the Traitor Lord. And since, again, I accidentally rescued Cloth earlier, which, I mean, technically, leaving her there is rescuing her in some sort of sense, but that doesn't really matter. Anyways, Cloth joins the fight, regardless if I want her to or not, and let's be honest, she probably didn't really make a difference, so, or at least that's what I tell myself to comfort myself. And again, I ended up fighting Traitor Lord by myself in the Pantheons anyway, multiple times, so again, it's not like this is making the challenge impossible or proving the challenge was impossible or anything, so. Regardless, eventually Traitor Lord goes down as well as Cloth, and then I go get the first white fragment from the White Lady. And then I also make sure to dream nail Cloth for good measure to make sure she's with me forever. You're never going to see Nola again. You're stuck in this little tiny dream catcher for the rest of eternity. Sweet dreams. Oh yeah, I also fight Marmu before I leave, and I do not like Marmu normally. Or I like Marmu as like a character, she's cute I guess, but like as a boss, the physics in this fight are so bad. They are just so awful. And it does not get any better with Shadow Dash, because you end up dashing into her in your invincibility frames and as you're still in her hitbox, so it's just... This fight is awful. I hate it so much. It's just like a bouncy ball on steroids. I don't like this fight. After making sure everything in Queen's Gardens is all sorted out, I return to the resting grounds and go talk to the Seer for the final time. Since I have like 2,500 essence at this point, I have more than enough to awoke the dream nail. I don't know how that I don't know how to phrase that correctly. I get the awoken dream nail and then talk to her one last time to let her remember, to make her remember the radiance, and then she turns into a Lumafly and just flies away, which has some major lore implications that I'm too stupid to sort out, so, yeah, I have no idea what that means. After returning to Zamir and claiming my last mask shard, I get one more mask, adding another point to my percentage, and then I return to the Lake of Un, and then actually go across the Acid Lake to reach Un herself, and then get the Shape of Un charm from her. And I'm one step closer, or that, I mean, like, that's another percentage I get to add to the counter. So, we're making good progress. If I'm doing my math right and counting everything, we should be right under 100% at this point. So, look at me go. I forgot to mention that I picked up the love key while I was in the Queen's Gardens, because like I said, I made sure I did everything I could there before leaving. The only thing that I could do there that I hadn't done yet was the flower quest, but I just covered that. So, once I did that, I went to the tower, after I got the Shape of Un, I went back to the Tower of Love, and then unlocked the door, and then fought the Collector. And you know how I said I didn't like minion bosses? This is the minion boss. And the worst part about it is that since the minions are varied, or like the regular enemies aren't the same type of enemy, it's hard to get a clean shot on multiple of them at once. Because all but the Baldurs fly, or like the Vengeflies and the Aspids both fly in different ways, so it's hard to line up a clean shot to take out most of them at once. So that was awful. And then the Collector, I'm kind of foreshadowing a bit, or I'm kind of spoiling a bit of like the Pantheons, but like the Collector was always so agonizing during the Pantheons because while he never killed me, he usually got close, and it took forever to fight him. At least with Flukemarm, I died pretty quickly, so at least the agony was short-lived there. The Collector just stretches it out over a longer period of time, and that's not good on my nerves. I already have enough to worry about. I don't need the Collector coming over and making that worse. But eventually I kill him, get the last 3 grubs, and then collect the map, which is useless at this point because I waited to get all the grubs before I fought the Collector, so yeah, I don't know why I did that. I'm being stupid. Breaking news, the sky is blue sometimes. Now that I've rescued all the grubs, I can return to Grubfather for the last time and claim the second to last charm, Grubberfly's Elegy. Now the last charm is King Soul / Voidheart, but we'll deal with that in a moment. We've got one last dreamer to kill, that being Monomon, and she is guarded by Umu. And Umu is just annoying because dashing is annoying, because like I said, since our DPS is so slow, or since our damage source is so slow, it takes forever to kill him. And by that I mean it takes like 4 cycles, but still, when it comes to Umu, that's like 2 more than I wanted, so that's annoying. But we do it, and then we go kill Monomon. And it was at this point that I realized the counter ticker, or like the progress counter, is going to be off by 1%. So, that's not good. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add another % right now because I missed something, obviously, and I've gone through the video multiple times trying to find where I messed up. So I'm just going to add 1 percentage point here, assuming that I missed something. Fight me. Actually, you know what? Whoever finds whatever I missed gets a pin comment or something. I don't know. Next up is the final Colosseum trial. The Trial of the Fool, which it says that you're fighting for the glory of being a fool, but we really know it's for that percentage point. Anyways, this trial is so long, it took forever. It felt like an eternity. The worst part is the part where you're stuck in the little box where you can't touch the floor because there's spikes and you have to stay up there for like 3 minutes just chipping away at the stupid battle obels with just 1 strike at a time. It's terrible. Like, I do think it's funny that after the whole gauntlet, you have to just fight God Tamer, and she's a pushover compared to everything else there. Which, I mean, I guess I'm thankful for. I wouldn't like to have to fight a hard boss after all that, but like, come on. Honestly, the Brooding Moloch put up more of a fight than her, no wonder it killed Tiso. Anyways, I am able to beat that, get some more Geo that I'm not going to use, and then I skedaddle. This is the section where I talk about the White Palace. Yeah, I have nothing to say here, really. The Shadow Dash extra length didn't really mess me up, because Sharp Shadow extends the dash length, and I thought that would mess me up, but it really didn't. And I never accidentally down dashed somehow, so it was basically just like doing the normal White Palace as fast as possible. I tried to do a Shade Skip, or not a Shade Skip, a Abyss Shriek skip, but I failed at that, so I just gave up on it. I also thought about doing the Path of Pain for the funny, but then I remembered, why would I do that? There's literally no benefit for me doing so. I don't even have the Hunter's Journal picked up. I'm not even gonna get the Seal of Binding entry. So, I decided against it to spare what little bit of my sanity is left, and from there I just ran through the White Palace as quickly as possible, and then I picked up the King's Soul. So, look at me, I'm being a gamer. I'm being a good little gamer and doing what I'm supposed to do. And then, with getting the King Soul, I get 107% completion, doing everything that I can that isn't, like, God Home related in terms of percentage. So, look at me, I'm doing a good job. But unfortunately, everything God Home related except for one of the percentage is probably the hardest stuff to do in the game, so that sucks. Okay, we're starting to get close to the final stretch here. After doing a quick detour to go kill White Defender, or beat White Defender the first time, I go down to the Junk Pit and unlock the God Seeker and grab the God Tuner, getting me yet another percentage point. Only 4 more percentage and 5 Pantheons, and then I'll be done. Or, I mean, I already did them, but you get what I mean. I'll be done with the video when I'm done editing it. Upon actually entering God Home, I set my sights on a secondary goal to beating the Pantheons, that being to complete as many bindings as I can with said Pantheons. I will be doing the nail binding on all of them, because it doesn't affect sharp shadow damage. I will be doing the shell binding on all of them, or I'll be doing it on 1 and 3, because 2 is difficult, and we'll get to that in a moment. And then I'll also be doing the soul binding on 1 and 3. Now, this will get me 8 bindings, which is enough to unlock the first Lifeblood Cocoon, which will give me 3 masks in the rest area. Now, I can't go to get 4, I can't do 4 more bindings to unlock the 4 seeds in the cocoons, but that's because I wouldn't be able to do it if I don't use the shell binding on Pantheon 2, and as I just said, we kind of need to not have that on, and I'll get to that in a moment. And then since we can't do the charm binding for obvious reasons, that means that's 4 bindings right there. So we couldn't even get the 5th life seed regardless. So with that, we're going to start the Pantheons. Just know I'm going to have those bindings on, so I'll make the Pantheon of Hallownest a bit easier on myself when we get to it. And trust me, I'll need all the help I can get. I managed to do Pantheon 1 on my first try, which I was surprised about, but it was a welcome surprise, to be sure, or whatever the quote is. The most annoying fight was Vengefly King, and that's just because of minion spam. And then probably the most difficult fight was Oro and Motto, just because having to deal with two bosses at once and trying to weave in between them, all while my damaging is inconsistent at best, and my damage also counts as my dodge, so I have to spend my dodge to be able to damage the boss. Regardless, it was difficult, but I managed to do it, and now we move on to the second Pantheon, which didn't go as well because of one single boss. Pantheon 2 goes down with major difficulty due to literally just Fluke Marm alone. I showed the whole fight there because I wanted to emphasize how stupid this whole battle is, because I couldn't go in with the shell binding because I needed to have enough health to tank all of the Fluke's stupidness, and even then I only lived on 1 HP, and if Broken Vessel wasn't so easy I would have probably died. But thankfully, the first time I even got past Fluke Marm, I made it all the way to Shio, so that's good, I guess. It's just annoying. That's why I wanted to do the binding so badly, because I need to make sure I have Lifeblood masks going into Fluke Marm, because throwing away like 20 minutes to even get to Fluke Marm on the Pantheon of Hallownest, I don't want to do that and then just die there randomly. That would be horrible. But anyway, let's get into Pantheon 3. Pantheon 3 was the third hardest Pantheon of the first four. The only one easier than it was Pantheon 1, obviously. It did take me 2 or 3 tries because I died on Umu, because double damage is a bitch. And also, when you have such low health, taking double damage is even more of a pain. But I was able to do it. Sly, ironically, wasn't that bad. Half the time, these final bosses aren't even really most of the problem. It's like one random boss in the middle that's annoying. And for this, that was the combination of Greyprint Zote back-to-back with Umu. That combo wasn't very fun, because Greyprint Zote usually didn't kill me, but he would whittle me down a lot, so by the time I got to Umu could finish me off relatively easily. But regardless, like I said, I finished Pantheon 3, on to Pantheon 4. Well, I did it. I reached 112% while only using Sharp Shadow, mostly. So, I guess there's only one thing left to do. No use in putting off the inevitable. The Pantheon of Hallownest is up next. And I got enough bindings done to where I can unlock the first lifeblood cocoon in the resting areas, so that will be helpful, I guess. Yeah. I have the footage of me doing the Pantheon of Hallownest down in the description as an unlisted video. Warning, it's 2 hours long, roughly. So I'm sure you can guess how that went from there, because I tend to do the Pantheon of Hallownest pretty quickly when I'm playing normally. So I don't know how fast people normally do it, but my guess is around 40 to 60 minutes. So the fact that it took me twice that long, should not be a good sign. I don't know why I'm explaining this. You already knew this was going to be extremely difficult. That's probably the reason, or one of the reasons you're still watching this video, because you want to see how this went. This took me at least a dozen tries, and the funniest part is that the first time I got past Flukemarm, I won. Which is, if that isn't emblematic of this whole challenge run, then I don't know what is. I hate Flukemarm so much. I don't care if you're canonically a MILF. Go burn in the depths of the void. I don't care. Oh god, okay, let's just get to the Pantheon of Hallownest. Let's go to what you want to see. I'll be skipping over most of the bosses, because I literally just showed you all of them in the last 4 Pantheon sections, and while they are in their Ascended arenas, most of the time that doesn't make a difference, so I'm just gonna show off the only interesting ones, and by that I mean the ones that almost ended the run, or yada yada yada. And then I'll show off Abzerad, or I'll show off like the new bosses like Wing Nosk, Sisters of Battle, Abzerad, etc. Now, as I said, or as I alluded to earlier, to my surprise, and probably the surprise of literally everyone else, I first tried Absolute Radiance. In the sense that, like, the first time I ever fought her, I won. Which is something, I guess. Also, I'm not playing the sound effect because that's how, or when I'm actually fighting the boss, I don't play the sound effect because so I don't spam it every 5 seconds, because then it becomes less special. Because if I say, because I'm going to be saying her name a lot more during the fight. I'm rambling too much. Absolute Radiance is a interesting fight, because I would argue that Pure Vessel is harder, because worst case scenario with Absolute Radiance, you can just chuck yourself into the void to recover some soul from SILKSONG, and then let Hive Blood heal off the heart, or heal off the mask, and then continue from there as needed. With you basically have a way to get infinite soul, while with Pure Vessel, there's no way to damage yourself without hitting the vessel, and the vessel always does 2 damage, or its attacks do 2 damage. So you can't really heal very efficiently, because you're always going to be losing health. You're going to be hemorrhaging health, basically. So you have to play perfectly. And I actually really like Pure Vessel in this challenge. It was like the ultimate challenge, I guess, if that makes sense. Or it was the ultimate challenge of skill expression, where you just have to play extremely precisely, little to no mistakes, and then you win. And then Absolute Radiance was like the final endurance test after all of the Pantheons, after all of that, after beating Pure Vessel, after showing I had mastered Sharp Shadow, basically. She just gave me this one last challenge of, okay, now just survive as long as you can. And I managed to do it. Thankfully. Sorry, like, my heart is beating fast just thinking about it, because, like, at this point, like, my nerves were through the roof. I was absolutely so stressed that's, like, I was scared that I was gonna die here and then not be able to get back for, like, days. But, again, I beat it on the first try, thankfully, somehow. The first phase, not that much of a problem. Second phase, a little more of a problem, but you can manage around, or you can maneuver around the spike floor pretty easily. Third phase is probably the second most difficult part of the fight, because of the sword rain. You have to dash downwards, and it's really hard to jump up that high when you have to watch out for the swords, but other than that, that phase goes down quickly, so that's a saving grace there. The fourth phase is just very tedious, because you have to make sure she's close enough to hit safely, but you need to make sure that you're out of range of her attacks, because there's only a few good spots you can attack her at. Otherwise, she has the metaphorical high ground here, and it's just not safe to attack her. Like I said, you just want to jump into the void whenever you're getting low on soul and recover as much soul as you can, heal off any wounds you may have, and then continue from there. And then you also want to make sure not to damage the boss too much while you're low on health, because if she starts the climb phase when you're low on health, and then you get to the top and you have to deal with the orb phase, you could be in big trouble. So I made sure not to really hit her unless I was at almost close to full health, and that ended up paying off. Because at the end, when I got past the climbing phase, I got hit once or twice, and then when I got to the final phase, the barrage phase, or whatever it's called, I did get hit a couple times, and again, that whole phase, in my head, I was basically just screaming at myself, you're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to die, just fight. And thankfully I did not die, but I was really close to, and I almost passed out or something. I was not even, once I beat her, because you have to hit her with the nail once to actually end the fight, and you'll notice when she, like, just randomly, like, kind of out of nowhere teleports to the center of the arena and just stays there. That's when you know the fight is over, quote-unquote. I had noticed once that the Shade Lord came up, I wasn't breathing, and I almost passed out, so I had to basically force myself to breathe at that point. It was brutal, but I won, and the challenge is over. Oh god. And with that, after 16 hours, probably 17, because I kind of left the game paused for a lot because I had to, if you watch the Pantheon video in the description, you'll see that I pause a couple times because I'm just trying to, like, gather my nerves and not just die, or whatever. Oh god, I completed this. Now, if you're interested in the challenge, the video is over. Cube 666 Kill Chop Deluxe outro, whatever. But for everyone else who is still sticking around, I would just kind of like to talk a little bit about the future of this channel. Now, I don't know what else I want to do in Hollow Knight challenge-wise, because this was pretty brutal, or this was, like, pretty big, and I'm sure I could do more, but I already know this video isn't probably going to do very well, and I do make these videos for fun, but I don't know if I have another one of these in me to do for fun right now, so I might have to wait a little bit. And again, if there is like a bigger incentive to do it, I might do another big challenge like this sooner, but I don't want to force myself if I'm not really getting anything out of it, including enjoying doing it. And by the end of this editing process, I've kind of started to lose fun in this, but I'm close to being done with this, so might as well finish the project. I would like to do more video essay stuff. I really like those FNAF videos I did in that Vessel video, but ironically no one really liked those, so that's fun. It's always fun when the things you're actually proud of and feel like you did good job with no one cares about. Or, that's not true. People like those. I need to be less hard on myself, and my brain is kind of already starting to get a little... It's starting to process numbers differently, because I see numbers like the 10,000 on my Grimmathy video, and I'm like, oh, well, if it doesn't hit that, then that means the video is a failure. And that's a bad way of looking at things. I shouldn't look at things like that, and I'm sorry. I don't want to be ungrateful, because... honestly, the fact that anyone sits down and watches these videos, especially if you've watched this video is like a movie length, but anyone who would watch these videos, like, I really appreciate that. Like, that means so much to me. Like, I don't know, it's just, I don't know how to organize my thoughts, I'm sorry. This makes me super happy that I'm able to do this as a hobby. Even if I've only made like $60 off of this in total, that's still way more than I ever thought I ever could. So, this means so much to me that you guys just sat down and watched these videos, or just had them on in the background as white noise. I don't care, just the fact that you're giving me some of your time means the world to me. And I just want to thank you all. Shout out again to my only channel member. I forgot the numbers, or I know their username, I just forgot the number. They have like a code of numbers afterwards, and I want to get that right. Skill issue 22822. Thank you for being a channel member. If you want to see more big videos like this, maybe consider becoming a channel member. I don't know. I don't know how to do all the YouTube things. Like if you like the video, subscribe if you like the video, share it with friends or whatever. Have a good day. I'm gonna go take a nap. Thank you for watching and have a good night.